Давай предположим, что все случилось, Царукян с Топурией дерутся. Ты кого видишь фаворитом в этом бою?
Я не вижу шансов у Топури.
То есть ты считаешь, что
Я
Арман
ему
нападает,
подарки
да?
тоже не даю. Арман слишком дистанционно дерется. Я, например, 80/20 я вижу победителем Армана. Я считаю, что его борьба, его прессинг, его говорить, это тоже надо учитывать.
Khabib Nurmagomedov shocked the MMA world by declaring Arman Tsarukyan as the clear favorite in a fight against Ilia Topuria. This is quite a shocking statement from Khabib, knowing how brutally Topuria knocked out 3 UFC legends in his last 3 fights. However, Khabib believes he does not see Ilia Topuria having any chance against Arman Tsarukyan. He explained that Arman had developed into a complete fighter using range, distance control, and sharp kicks to shut down strikers. Khabib pointed out that Tsarukyan now had the experience and footage to study opponents closely, making him far more dangerous than a few years ago. He believed that Topuria's style would not translate well against someone as well-rounded as Arman, and right now, he viewed Tsarukyan as the best lightweight in the division.
Давай предположим, что все случилось, Царукян с Топурией дерутся. Ты кого видишь фаворитом в этом бою?
Я не вижу шансов у Топури.
То есть ты считаешь, что
Я
Арман
ему
нападает,
подарки
да?
тоже не даю. Арман слишком дистанционно дерется. С ударниками держит дистанцию хорошо, ногами лучше работает. И сейчас уже Арман слишком хорошо. У него есть материал, который он может посмотреть и хорошо изучить. Если 3 боя назад, если он с ним дрался, может, он не так опасался. Но сейчас уже видно то, чего можно опасаться от Топурии. Я считаю, что в данный момент лучший боец в легком весе это Топурия.
Ты про Царукяна.
Да, я про Царукяна.
Khabib is confident that Arman Tsarukyan would be an 80-20 favorite over Ilia Topuria. He said Arman's edge comes from his overall MMA game, not just wrestling. Tsarukyan could use his takedowns, elbows, grappling, and submissions to control the fight, and Khabib added that Arman has grown smarter with experience, studying opponents carefully and avoiding reckless exchanges. He also pointed out Tsarukyan's size advantage, stressing that his height, strength, and pressure would make him the bigger and more dominant fighter on fight night.
Выиграет он при этом за счет борьбы, правильно?
За счет ММА стиля.
Но,
Это не вольная борьба.
но будет проходить, да?
Арман может повалить, у него хорошие локти в партере. Очень хороший локти. Может бороться, разбаривать, спину забирать.
А вот в эту опасную дистанцию с Топурией просто не зайдет.
Не зайдет, слишком уже есть бои, он уже может посмотреть, изучить. Я например, 80/20 я вижу победителем Армана. Я считаю, что его борьба, его прессинг, его говорить, это тоже надо учитывать. Он выше него почти на 10 сантиметров, если не ошибаюсь. И он больше него весом. И в день боя он будет больше него.
Khabib also said wrestling would play a huge role in a matchup like this. He explained that Ilia Topuria had never faced a true wrestler, pointing out that fighters like Holloway and Charles Oliveira had little to no wrestling threat. According to him, Topuria's opponents had been all strikers, including Volkanovski, who doesn't use wrestling. Khabib challenged anyone to name even one of Topuria's past opponents who relied on wrestling at even 20%, let alone 50%.
И, конечно, борьба, она всегда рулила. Особенно, когда такие бои бывают. Мы все знаем, какая борьба у Холлоуэя и какая борьба у последнего Чарльза Оливера. У них ее практически нет. Они ударники. Они пошли на рожон и хапнули свое. А человек, который взял ногу, поборолся, взял корпус, поборолся. С такими он не дрался, он дрался со всеми ударниками. Волконовский не борется, другие не борются. С кем он дрался? Просто назови хоть одного, хоть чуть-чуть, даже не 50%, который хоть 20% использует борьбу.
Khabib admitted it was an interesting matchup, noting that the UFC seemed cautious about rushing Arman Tsarukyan into a fight with Ilia Topuria. He admitted that Topuria was currently the bigger star, but added that if Arman secured a big win, the promotion would no longer be able to avoid making that fight.
Интересный бой будет. Я считаю, что, я знаю, что UFC опасаются, не хотят его так быстро убирать. Топурию. По-любому он как медийная личность в данный момент
и поэтому может
больше, чем Арман. Если даже вылезет сейчас Арман, если один бой выиграет, куда его деть?
Да, деваться некуда будет.
Они же не могут его спрятать.
Islam Makhachev also admitted that the most logical lightweight matchup right now was Ilia Topuria against Arman Tsarukyan. He said Tsarukyan had already proven himself as a true contender and earned the chance. Makhachev added that with the right mindset, Arman had the tools needed to defeat Ilia.
На твой взгляд, сейчас самый справедливый бой за чемпионство в легком весе между Ильей Топурией и Арманом Царукяном?
Ну да, конечно. Если кто-то когда-то, не знаю, в истории страховал бой, делал вес, он всегда дрался почти. Ну, я не помню в истории, чтобы не давали бой. Арман сделал последний турнир вес, подстраховал бой. И я думаю, он должен быть следующий. Он доказал, что у него же была проблема с весогонкой. Он доказал, что может спускаться, гонять вес. И я думаю, что это самый актуальный бой на данный момент.
У кого было бы больше всего шансов на победу?
Ну, я думаю, если честно, если Арман выйдет с правильным настроем, то он справится.
Charles Oliveira is also another fighter who believes that Arman Tsarukyan should be the next challenger for Ilia Topuria's title. He noted that Tsarukyan was the #1 ranked contender and had already earned his shot. Oliveira also reminded that Arman had been scheduled to fight for the belt before, but withdrew due to injury, making him the rightful choice now.
Quem que você imaginaria que seria uma luta interessante e que causaria talvez uma dificuldade pro Topuria?
Cara, não vou te falar nem de dificuldade, nem interessante. Eu acho que o cara que merece isso é o Arman, o número 1 do ranking. Então, o Arman merece essa luta. Sabe, tá esperando ali, ele luta pelo título, teve a lesão, saiu, então acho que é o Arman.
Meanwhile, Arman Tsarukyan hinted at the possibility of a title fight with Ilia Topuria, while noting he was still waiting for confirmation from the UFC. In his view, Ilia was avoiding the matchup because of the risk it carried, preferring to target easier, high-profile opponents instead of defending the belt against him.
I wanna fight for the title. I've been waiting so long, and Son maybe knows something.
Do you know if those conversations about a title fight are ongoing with the UFC?
They didn't tell anything yet to me. So I'm just still waiting, training, and trying to call out Ilia as much as possible. But
yeah, we've seen some of the tweets towards Ilia. They've been funny. I enjoyed the duck video that he did. What do you make of the fact that he says he would rather give up the belt than fight you? That you just don't deserve it. He doesn't want to do it.
I mean, he feels that he's gonna lose that fight, and it's better to give the belt and then like go up or like wait when what happened with me, because he knows just I'm a big problem for him, and I'm gonna get his title. He knows that, and he wants to get easy fight with Perry or Gage or with someone, just make money and to defend. But with me, it's gonna be hard for him.
Khamzat Chimaev also admitted that the fight between Ilia Topuria and Arman Tsarukyan needed to happen this year. He called it the perfect matchup, with Arman's wrestling against Ilia's striking showing who truly was the best. Although close to both fighters, Khamzat admitted he would be eager to watch them face each other in the cage.
We know you're kind of friends with Ilia too, and you know you're friends with Arman. Do you see them fighting this year?
I hope so. It's a good fight for the both guys. So fighting is, we need to know who is the best fighter in the world. So the both guys is best fighters, so I will be happy to watch that fight. Yeah, it's a crazy fight. Arman is good moves, like he has a good kick, good wrestling, and the other guy has a good jiu-jitsu, a good puncher, so it would be cool to watch that fight.
However, after seeing UFC's stance, Arman Tsarukyan even said that he would fight another top contender if Ilia Topuria wasn't available, but only with a guaranteed title shot afterward. He named Justin Gaethje as his first choice, believing a win over him would remove any doubts about his claim to the belt. He also mentioned Dan Hooker as a possible option, but stressed that the UFC couldn't sideline him in favor of booking Paddy Pimblett against Topuria. So, Dan Hooker saw the opportunity and announced that doctors had cleared him to return in November, and he set his sights on Arman Tsarukyan. He said no one ranked between them was willing to take that fight, and he was ready to step in and test himself against one of the division's toughest rising contenders.
He said you had ducked him, but I've heard you call his name many times over the years. So there's that chat.
It just didn't work out. I'm cleared to fight in November. That fight was in October. I never even got offered that fight because I told the UFC that I don't have medical clearance. So I'm cleared for November. All he had to do was kind of sit and wait a couple of weeks. But, it's just the stars didn't lie. I want that Arman. Yep. I think he's a scumbag, monobrow loser. That and I'll knee him right in I'll cave his face right in. That's on the cards. There's not a single other fighter in the top 5 or anyone ranked between me and him that even wants that fight. Like, no one, he's the #1 contender. No one gives a flying a belt.
On the other hand, Chael Sonnen gave his view on Ilia Topuria's next move and said he was convinced the UFC was setting up a fight with Arman Tsarukyan. He spoke about it with certainty rather than speculation, noting that Topuria often rejects fights publicly before eventually accepting them. When asked how he knew, Chael pointed to his friendship with Arman's wrestling coach, saying his information came from someone close to the team.
Outside of illness or even if I'm breaking news to you, then I'm not sharing my opinion. I'm sharing a fact with you. It's Arman versus Ilia. That is 100% the plan.
What makes you so confident, 100% sure, is going to be Arman Tsarukyan getting the shot? I've said that, I'm pretty sure I said I'd eat that hat behind me if his next fight was for a title, just because it seems so grim, Chael.
Sure.
What has changed?
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, first off, I'm obviously coming to you with information, whether I should have or I shouldn't. Secondly, I was the best man in his wedding. His name's Daryl Christian, and he's the wrestling coach of Arman Tsarukyan. Third, I just spoke to Coach Cal. I wanted to come out and I wanted to film Chimaev training, and it turns out that Tsarukyan's in the room.
Demetrius Johnson also argued that Arman Tsarukyan was the rightful challenger for Ilia Topuria since he was the clear #1 contender. Still, he believed the UFC was more interested in booking Topuria against Paddy Pimblett because of their rivalry and the hype it would generate. Johnson compared it to professional wrestling, saying the promotion prioritized business and entertainment over sporting merit.
Who is next for Ilia Topuria? Now, technically, it should be Arman Tsarukyan because he is truly the #1 contender. But they basically forced this Paddy Pimblett versus Ilia Topuria engagement because there is beef between those guys. They have had some exchanges before outside of the octagon. But this is where I had this hot take recently this week is that I said, the UFC is not a sport. Like, they get to dictate what they want to push the narrative of what the fans want to see, which that's not what a sport is dictated on. And it's funny because my dad and my wife, Destiny, were watching the fights, and like, what the fuck? It's like WWE all over again.
On the other hand, the attention is also shifting towards the Islam versus JDM fight that is most probably going to happen in November at UFC 322. Islam is looking fully focused for a second belt and is pushing his limits in the training camp. In a recent video, Islam Makhachev also breaks down his famous inside leg trip.
By the looks of things, there we go.
To the side of his chest, now an outside reach.
Meanwhile, Islam Makhachev also explained why there were no American champions in the UFC today. He said it was because the promotion started signing more fighters from his region who lived for the sport in a way others didn't. According to him, in the US, fighters didn't feel the same pressure even if they performed poorly. In contrast, his countrymen carried the weight of their families, cities, and entire republics, which pushed them to compete with full responsibility and find ways to win.
В Америке американских чемпионов вообще абсолютно не осталось. Единственное, Мираб, но он гражданин Америки, но по факту он грузин. С чем ты связываешь упадок американских ММА?
Просто они начали уже подписывать больше наших ребят, все из-за этого.
Первые 4 строчки в рейтинге Палфа занимают ребята из Кавказа, а лет через 5 ты допускаешь, что будет не 4 бойца, а уже 10, например.
Ну, знаете, как я скажу, если будут подписывать, я со 100% уверенностью говорю, что будет очень много чемпионов с Кавказа, с Дагестана, с Чечни, потому что не секрет же, у нас ребята живут этим, живут спортом. В Америке как? Ты плохо выступил, это они ни о чем не переживают. А у нас здесь за этим парнем вся семья стоит, весь город, вся республика стоит. И он чувствует эту ответственность. И вот с полной ответственностью выходит, готовится и побеждает.
Talking about his fight with Jack Della Maddalena, Islam Makhachev shares that he wants to smash JDM in their upcoming fight. He addressed whether JDM was on the level of fighters like Alexander Volkanovski or Dustin Poirier. He admitted JDM's size could make things interesting, but dismissed any doubts about the outcome. Islam warned that JDM could be dangerous if allowed to strike freely, yet promised he would drag him into deep waters, wear him out, and dominate with his trademark pressure and control.
Khabib сказал, что твой бой с Маддаленой будет очень сложным, а ты видишь, в чем Маддалена превосходит твоих прошлых соперников, например, Волкановский или Порье?
Весом, наверное. Ну, не знаю. Знаешь, как зависит. Если, например, даже вот сейчас про Чимаева бой говорили, если он дал бы ему поработать, то это был бы конкурентный бой. И также и у меня, и у всех. Если дать работать, например, в стойке Мандалине, он может показать хороший бой. Не секрет, я собираюсь его переводить, я собираюсь его контролировать, заставлять его устать, навязывать свой стиль боя.
Meanwhile, Carlos Prates admitted he initially thought Jack Della Maddalena might struggle after his injury and long layoff, expecting only a close, points-based fight, but he was surprised by how much Jack had improved and the new level he displayed. Henry Cejudo, however, pointed out that Islam Makhachev was a completely different challenge altogether, with top control and relentless pressure far beyond anything Jack had faced before.
I was thinking Jack Della Maddalena would lose. He got injured and I was like almost 2 years without fight.
Yeah.
And then he come to different level, bro. He was like gonna be a board fight by points and things like that. But bro, what he did was really good work. He grew up a lot.
Yeah, but
he come a different level.
Yeah, but Islam is a different animal. And if there's one thing that I could say in that fight, Islam Makhachev, he gets on top of you.
Yeah.
He's a blanket, bro. The top control that Islam has in comparison to Bilal is completely different.
Joe Rogan also expressed his admiration for Islam Makhachev's size and training, calling him a physically imposing presence. He often remarked how surprising it was that Islam could even make the 155-pound limit with such a thick frame and broad back. Rogan emphasized Makhachev's strength in grappling, noting the way he used his power and leverage to dominate opponents on the ground.
He's big, dude.
Yeah.
When I interview him in the cage afterwards, I'm always like, how?
Really?
How are you 155?
Yeah.
How?
I know.
How?
I know.
He's thick as f. He's got a giant back.
Yeah.
And when he gets a hold of guys, it's like he's just got this leverage, this grappling squeeze that it's. I remember when he fought Drew Dober. And like when he got Dober down to the ground, I was like, that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Yoel Romero spoke about the welterweight division and suggested that Jack Della Maddalena could be a serious threat to Islam Makhachev. He explained that Maddalena's mix of cardio, striking, and underrated wrestling made him one of the most dangerous fighters at 170. Romero added that his size and physicality gave him the tools to compete with anyone in the division, including the champion, making the matchup feel like a 50-50 battle.
What about Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena, who is a new champion in welterweight division?
It's hard because Maddalena have a very good cardio, very good puncher. Yeah. He's not bad wrestling too. It's a 50-50.
50-50, but Jack has not that high takedown defense. You know,
but punch it. He have a very hard punches.
And he will be more powerful than Islam, right? Or
that's it. Exactly.
Because of the weight difference, right?
Yes.
Or Islam is too big for.
No. That guy Maddalena is big. For 170, he's big. He's big.
Javier Mendez said Jack Della Maddalena is a serious threat because of his size and versatile striking. He pointed out Jack's ability to mix kicks and punches to keep opponents off balance, and while he noted Ilia Topuria is a sharper boxer, Mendez believes Jack's overall striking is more complete. He emphasized that Islam Makhachev will need flawless preparation with no room for error against Jack.
We're not stupid. We know what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a much bigger guy and just as dangerous, if not more dangerous in different variations. Not boxing, because I think Topuria's got the best boxing in the business. I still believe that. But Jack is well versed in the kicking and the arsenal, how he mixes it up. He's really good at head and body, leg, everything. He's really, really good at that. So we have our hands cut out for us. It's not an easy fight at all. If Islam, by some miracle of a chance, makes that fight to be like slam dunk, it's because we were properly prepared, or Jack wasn't as prepared, or Jack was injured, or Jack just got caught. But it's gonna be one of those fights that's not easy. No way in hell is that fight gonna be easy. Very tough fight.
Meanwhile, Geoff Neal urged Jack Della Maddalena to defend the welterweight division, warning it would look bad if Islam Makhachev moved up from lightweight and immediately took over. He acknowledged Islam's dominance at 155, but questioned whether the same physicality would carry against naturally bigger opponents at 170. Neal stressed that Jack's takedown defense would be the key factor, and hoped he was fully prepared to handle the pressure.
Who do you think wins that fight?
I don't know. We will see, because I've heard Islam's strong, the strongest. Like, especially like when he's fighting 155, people like always talk about how strong he is for the weight class. So we'll see how that translates. to 170.
Yeah.
You know, I hope Jack's been working his takedown defense and in the weight room. You know what I mean? Don't embarrass us, dog. Don't let this 155er come up and take the belt, bro.
Who do you give the edge to in that fight?
Man, that's so hard. But I'm gonna give the edge to Jack, man. He needs to keep the belt at 170.
So, this is all we have from today's video, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Share your thoughts and predictions about this fight in the comments section, and subscribe to our channel to get more updates about this highly anticipated encounter.